And we on.
100%. Nice Sunday
Afternoon.
afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about last week.
We just didn't post last week.
So what happened last week? We took the video, but just a bit of problem with the cameras. It didn't come out very nicely. So we decided we're not happy with it. We're not going to post it. But this week we have a few interesting topics.
Got some good content this week. Do you want to start off?
I'll let you actually do the honors there, Colvin.
Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to talk about, I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and I happened to follow Nasty C. I enjoy his music. He's been releasing some good content lately, and he's in California, LA at the moment. And he posted a picture with Big Sean, so I thought that was quite cool. We'll put a picture up below here.
Yeah, if you don't know Big Sean, he's
Big Sean.
I Don't Fuck With You.
Yeah,
that was probably one of his biggest songs. He's a good artist. I also like Blessings.
Yeah, that was the one that I was going to
I think Drake and Kanye West featured on that song. That was
he's been
also
a bit
very
quiet
good
lately, but I mean...
He is the big leagues though.
Yeah,
still.
he is big leagues. So I think that was quite a cool thing to bring up.
And
I mean, if he's hanging out with people like that, then there's some good music on the way.
Yeah, because I mean, personally, in my opinion, Casper Nyovest will think he's the best. AKA will think that he's the best. But I think Nasty C is the one representing South Africa the most.
100%.
And he's the youngest of them.
Speaking of AKA, have you seen that they're doing a comedy
Comedy Central roast on AKA.
It's on. They're advertising it quite a lot on Comedy Central.
I'd like to see Casper Nyovest get on it.
I don't know if he's going to be on it, but I'd like to see what they're going to say about AKA.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out.
I think it's on the 16th of March if anyone wants to watch that.
It was actually a funny story. This is just kind of South African rap, how it works. I was in the art store maybe like 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and I was waiting in line.
Yeah.
And this guy walked in, and everyone ran around him and were taking pictures, coming into the art store taking pictures. And me and my brother just literally looked at each other and we were like, who the hell is this guy? And we went home and Googled him, and it was actually AKA. So,
but that was when his career just started popping off. I mean, he.
But yeah, you're not used to seeing celebrities walking around
it's
South
not
Africa.
really.
They're few and far in between.
But I mean, he's still a big name in the country, as well as Casper and Nasty C. So I mean, if they are seen in the public, they will get a lot of attention.
They get decent numbers. I mean, like they get a couple 100,000 views, maybe 1 million or 2.
Yeah, 1 million
max. But that's like Casper.
It's pretty good though. I think the most Casper's gotten is like 3 mil. But I mean, for South African, that's a good achievement. I would be chuffed with that.
Who do you think's representing the most out of like an African rapper? Would you consider The Weeknd an African rapper?
No. Can I be very honest? I would probably say either Nasty C or Questa. I really like Questa. I think he's so down to earth, and he just represents.
And Black Coffee.
But Black Coffee's just made his own. Yeah, he's made his own name for himself.
That goal music is really something unique that is South African.
And it's spreading very rapidly.
It's very catchy. Well, even if you don't speak Zulu, you can just kind of vibe to it.
So he's also doing quite well. But Questa, I know he's also hanging out with a few big names like Rick Ross. He took a picture and posted it with Rick Ross. So I mean, they're up there.
Well, I mean, a few of them like Nasty C, Casper, and AKA, weren't they all on Sway?
Yeah, they all went on Sway, but I mean, they also involving themselves with those type of rappers. Like, I mean, Rick Ross is up there. I mean,
but Nasty C did with ASAP. I remember actually the interview with Casper Nyovest. He was saying that he wouldn't, the only record deal he would sign was if he got offered a record label in America.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he stays independent here in South Africa. Yeah.
But he's also the first person to sell out a stadium, which is also quite a big achievement.
It is an achievement, yeah. But did you hear all that conspiracy that he bought his own CDs to make his thing go platinum over the weekend?
But I mean, it's a hustle, so you gotta
do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And then Colvin was telling me about the one story, probably the most epic camper in the world.
So this guy was trail running. I don't know how long ago. I think it was about a week ago. He was trail running in the Colorado mountains, and he was attacked by a mountain lion. And he said it was about a 5-minute fight he had with this mountain lion, and he got about 20 stitches from it. He had puncture wounds, he had scratches everywhere. He ended up killing the mountain lion by standing on its neck.
On his neck?
And suffocating it.
So did you actually read the actual interview
I saw the interview he had. He said the mountain lion like gripped his arm.
Did it get him by surprise?
It caught him. It just pounced on him. He had earphones in, so he didn't even know where it was coming from. And it gripped his arm and it wouldn't let go, and he fell down the mountainside with it, and they were just wrestling. And he just said that he just stood, he got on top of it and put its knee on its neck and just started hitting it with sticks, but the sticks weren't like piercing the skin. He tried to use a rock, but the rock wasn't working because the fur, so it was also winter time there, so the fur is quite thick. So it wasn't really doing much. So he said he just had to stand on its neck. So it was on its arm, and he was
how big are they?
So I looked it up. A male mountain lion can get between 53 to 110 kgs. That is crazy.
Okay, that can take
They're about the same size as about a leopard. So, I mean, it's not as big as the lion. I mean, the lion is the biggest. I think,
tiger or lion. And then the lager is actually the biggest.
Yeah, but that's like
a hybrid. That's a cross between a lion and a tiger.
But, I mean, they can still get big. And he said he thought he was going to die. He said because when he injured it and he started stabbing it, it just made it more aggressive. Because, I mean, it's a fight or flight. So he said he had to kill it. But yeah, he's in the interview. He still got stitches everywhere. I mean, he nearly lost the fight. It looked like he nearly lost the fight. But I mean,
he was quite beaten. Like he
was on his last legs. He said he had heavy puncture wounds in his stomach because its claws are also very hectic.
Those things will rip you apart.
They'll rip you apart. So
that's mad.
What a story to tell.
Yeah, I know. Like now, mad. Like literally, this would be me if I went for like a job interview. They'd be like, so do you have any past experience? And I'd be like, I killed a fucking mountain lion.
I killed a mountain lion.
Is there anything else that needs to be said, really?
But apparently it was an adolescent mountain lion, and they usually roam by themselves. And because they're not so aware of how to hunt and stuff like that, it was quite intrigued by him running, and it just had a go at him just because it didn't really. Adolescent mountain lions are they're not experienced enough in the art of hunting and stuff.
I mean, if you think about it, like leopards and things, how many attacks and killings have there been? Like even in like the Kruger.
Yeah. But leopards are very more nocturnal and stuff.
They're actually an interesting fact is in India, they used to wear masks on the back of their heads because a tiger will attack a person from behind. Yeah. So when you've got the mask on your head, the back of your head with a face, it looks like it's you still looking at the
that's
tiger.
Pretty clever. I know that they have a lot more run-ins with leopards and tigers in India just because of the population.
Well, there's been a lot of game rangers that have been killed by leopards in South Africa.
But leopards are also very docile, and they only come out at night mainly. But I mean, mountain lions, a lot of people also hike and stuff like that, and mountain lions are quite I've seen a few videos online of mountain lions, but I mean, you just don't mess with those type of things.
No, definitely not.
They're crazy. But I mean, that was a cool story. It's trending at the moment. What a story.
Yeah, crazy. Another thing I wanted to touch on, we spoke about this last week, but obviously that video wasn't posted, about Emiliano Sala. He's an Argentinian football player.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was signed to FC Nantes, a French club, and he was recently undergoing a transfer to Cardiff City. Cardiff City, they're about to be relegated.
Okay.
And they really needed this transfer as well.
Yeah.
He was a promising player. He really kind of was hitting the prime of his career at the time of this happening. So what happened now is he was flying from France to Cardiff.
I think it was to Cardiff, yeah.
Yeah, so he's flying from France to Cardiff, and his plane went missing. So they actually had contact with the airport traffic controllers, and they said they were dropping altitude because the conditions were rough.
Yeah.
And they went missing. Now they had a search party for three or so days, and they called it off. The family themselves actually had to fund their own private search. They actually funded their own private search party, and they ended up finding him. But it was quite interesting because it's quite a strange occupation, but they hired this guy named David Mearns, and he's an American, and his actual job description is a shipwreck hunter.
What a title, if
you know what I mean? Like that's quite a strange way to go up the job ladder. Now you
imagine handing out your business cards as that kind of.
Yeah, literally, that's quite a specialized position. Anyway, it's a very sad thing to happen. He was 28 years old.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's 19 million outstanding on his transfer. It was Cardiff's record 17 million pounds.
Yeah.
So it was Cardiff's record signing, and part of the fees were still outstanding to FC Nantes. So they're kind of on a legal battle at the moment
for the rest of the
to
money.
recover the rest of the money. But it's a tricky situation now
It
because
is a
you
bit-
paid for a player, now there's no player.
I know. And also, my question is, why would he be on that type of flight? Why doesn't he just take a domestic flight? Why does he have to be on a... I don't think it was a private jet. I think it was just one of those...
I don't know, but apparently it was just himself, the pilot, and there is a thing going around that there was another passenger with him. But that hasn't been confirmed by the French authorities.
Seems a bit fishy, but I mean, it's very unfortunate.
Well, I mean, you're flying across the English Channel. You don't need a big...
No, and it's not that far. People swim across the English Channel, so...
Yeah, literally. So I don't think you need a commercial kind of airline.
No.
It could have been a... I don't know, who knows? You don't know what these football players... Could have been a private jet. Or it could have just been a small kind of airplane going across the channel. And then another thing I wanted to bring up, which is kind of a little bit of history trivia. I like sharks.
I also enjoy sharks.
We spoke about it on the second
animals,
recorded
to be
podcast
honest.
we did. Yeah, and I'm really intrigued with sharks and that sort of thing.
Mm.
And now they generally, you're not likely to encounter any
they kind of
danger
mind
when
their
you
own
find a
business and
shark.
do what they got to do.
It's not a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
But there was an instance in about 1945. There was a ship called the USS Indianapolis, and it was the greatest single loss from a ship in the US Navy.
Okay, so is this World War II?
This was World War II, yeah.
World War II.
So it was it was an undercover mission, because what they were trying to do is they were transporting parts for Little Boy,
okay,
the atomic bomb that went off at Hiroshima.
Hectic.
So it was very hush-hush, undercover. Yeah. They usually had... So what would happen is you'd have kind of a battleship, and then you'd have like a bunch of other ships escorting it.
Okay.
Because there's a chance of
being
submarines, that sort of thing. But because it was such an undercover mission, they just went with this one ship, and they managed to drop off the parts, and they were coming back, and they got hit by a Japanese submarine's torpedo.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically of the 1,195, 300 died in the actual sinking of the ship. Actually, no. So which leaves 890 people alive. Okay.
For the life rafts and...
Yeah, so 890 people survived the sinking of the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, and after the submersion, after all of this, only 316 survived in the end. Okay, so from 890 to 316, basically what happened was a lot of people died of exposure
to the elements.
So basically dehydration and that sort of thing.
Stuff like that,
yeah, a lot of people died of exposure, but they estimate a few dozen to a couple hundred actually died from shark attacks.
And that's very plausible.
So yeah,
very plausible.
There were oceanic white-tip sharks
that
were believed to be involved. Very aggressive sharks. There could have also been tiger sharks, but they're not too sure. So basically, what was happening is they sunk this boat, and there wasn't enough rafts for everybody.
That's usually the case, eh? I've noticed that. That's usually the case. Even with the Titanic, I know that's a bad example, but I mean, they don't cater for what happens if the ship goes down.
The Titanic was arrogance, though, because they actually said, like, the ship isn't going to sink.
Yeah, they thought it was indestructible. But I mean, they should take into account how many people are on the ship and how many people can fit in a life raft.
I think it is regulated, but like with a lot of things,
it's also like a 1 in a million, you know what I mean? Like, is it really gonna go down? Like, people are mainly gonna die from an attack or from the explosion anyway. I
think what could have happened though is a few the rafts could have been damaged in the actual
True. That also makes sense. Yeah.
So there were a bunch of people now clamoring, trying to get into these life rafts.
Yeah.
And the people on them were actually kicking the people that were trying to get on, because there wasn't enough space. And I mean, you know what I mean? If they manage to get on, they're going to throw you off.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So there was guys hanging onto these rafts, hanging onto life jackets.
Floating in the ocean.
Clusters of them all over the place.
That's crazy.
And the water was red. It wasn't even blue. It was a puddle of red. And the shark, what would happen is one guy, one of the survivors, one of his accounts, he said that he was hanging onto the raft.
Yeah.
And the people next to him, the guy next to him and got two people down, just dropped.
crazy.
The sharks, you'd see the sharks coming, swimming underneath you, and then a guy would just drop.
That's crazy.
And the sharks actually stopped eating for sustenance.
Then they just started attacking.
And they started just attacking, like biting limbs and then swimming off. And like I said, this is a unique circumstance because it's not kind of what they prey on, not kind of what they do.
I just feel like it's something to do. Do you know what I mean? They're in, like, you're in the water. What would you do personally in that situation? If you can't get on the raft, you have no way of getting on the raft and you're just floating there. Would you, like, put your head in the water and just watch the whole time and try and kick? Or would you just float? Would you?
I from what I understand about sharks is if you're struggling and you splashing around and you're making a racket, there's a bigger chance they're going to come for you.
True, that is very true.
So I think I'd stay still. Also, you want to conserve your energy because you're not getting any water and you're not getting any food.
Yeah.
And like your only chance of surviving is if you just hang there and like chill out.
Very true.
But it was a
crazy situation.
Yeah.
Very crazy.
Because like people in dehydration, they start drinking the seawater. It makes you more dehydrated.
Delusional and
yeah, it's crazy. And then quite an interesting bit of Hollywood trivia is that the character Quentin Jaws was a reference to USS Indianapolis. He was a survivor of the actual
I never knew
attack.
that.
Yeah,
that's actually quite a cool.
And they want to do this the second Jaws movie. They actually wanted to recreate the USS Indianapolis sinking, but that obviously like put a little bit of Hollywood spice.
Yeah, that would have been such a good movie. I don't know why they turned that down.
Oh yeah, it was Universal Studios that actually ended the project and said, no, sorry, we can't do it.
Yeah, that would have been a very cool movie, to be honest.
Otherwise, anything else you've got going on, Colvin?
Nothing much that I can bring topic of it. I hope everyone's enjoying the load shedding that's happening at the moment. That's been a bit of a mission, but I mean, we're kind of used to it now. It was quite
a surprise though, to be honest. Kind of happened all like kind of
but I feel like
suddenly.
It did happen suddenly, but I feel like we very like desensitized to it. I mean, it's not like it's new. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's been put into stages is a little bit more hectic.
Did you see they found oil reserves off the Eastern Cape?
No. Is that recent?
Yeah, recent.
I haven't heard about
past
that.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Well, that's quite interesting.
But we'll see what happens. Personally, this country, I don't think it'll affect the petrol price in any way. If anything, it'll keep it constant.
Yeah.
But it's not going to go down.
To be honest.
But yeah, sorry about missing last week.
Yeah. Hopefully we can post this one up soon. And yeah, shot for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Subscribe, give a like, give a comment if you're interested. And yeah, we out.
Cool.